computer. All right, Jocelyn, I'm so excited to share my screen. Let me make sure everything's ready to go on the other end. And I think you'll like the presentation we have put together. Okay, here we go. Cool. Just hit present. All right. So, hi there. My name is Lindsay Wood, the tiny home lady. I think Dave mentioned that to you. And these are just some of the big kudos, the big bragging moments that I get to have as a thought leader, broker, and consultant. I'm focused on really the buyer's role. I'm not a builder myself. So, and it's been like that for the 7 years that I've been doing this. 500,000 in modular sales in just this year, which is super exciting. Over 400,000 in movable tiny home sales over the last few years. Remember, I'm not a builder, so that number's never been in that direction. It's been all about consulting. And I've worked with thousands of people over the last 5 years, gotten 2 jurisdictions approved, third one's on the way. I've hosted my Go Tiny Academy, and I've pretty much been involved in 47 events since 2017. That's how I met Dave with PreFab Innovations. It all started with our tiny home journey, but quickly evolved into different areas. And I know we're not talking about tiny homes on wheels with you. These are just some of my brands that I put together. And along the way, I've also done real estate investment. Flip This House was our first one, then this one in Oakland, a project in Florida. And really what it connected me with is I love real estate, but I don't love the regular real estate. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm not a broker. I like working with companies like PreFab Innovations. And in the process and journey of working with movables, there was a lot of barriers. And really the focus that I got really excited about was on modular. Here in California, we build in a factory in Fresno. They arrive on wheels, place on foundation. And of course, the craning depends on access, which yours definitely would involve after taking a look at your project. Which, speaking of, is this the home that we're referring to?
Yep, that's my parents' home.
Perfect. Okay. So I grabbed some of your information that you put in, it's all about building spacious, modern studio, 1 bedroom. And is this for you?
It's for me. Yep.
Okay, great. I'm literally doing the same thing with my parents in their backyard in Ukiah. So we are,
Okay.
and I cannot drive it in the backyard. It will have to have a crane, but that's okay. What I love about your property, there's no crazy utility lines in front. Yay.
Oh, okay,
Um,
that's good to know.
Yep.
We do have a PG&E pool in the backyard, or like my parents do,
Okay.
which is accessed pretty often. So I don't know what the implication of that is, but
That's
you'll
okay.
know.
No, as long as it's not in the way I see it. Is this the pole right there in
Yeah.
between the house? Okay.
Hmm.
And it's
Yep.
not like it's in the backyard, right? Like all the way to the back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Running through your yard.
Um,
Cool.
okay.
And then as far I got the location, you'll see in the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit more with regards to closest to the ocean. You're in the state of California. It might have some coastal commission that it has to go through. The good news is our development crew know this world. So anything, every product, I should say project and land has their own little unique quirks but as far as the ability to do it, the fact that you're in the state of California, it is
Mhm.
allowed to have an ADU as long as you don't have another one there. I'm assuming you don't. I didn't see it from the Google Earth standpoint.
No, we
Correct?
don't.
No. Okay. And
I mean,
then
they
as
have
far
an
as,
in-law, but they've extended the house, but they don't have an ADU
but
per
it's
se.
all part of the
The
home.
house inside.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Not
Yep.
detached. Okay, great. And then you said backyard, unfortunately, it's like, I mean, I know this area. I know Daly City. I know San Francisco. Plenty of homes have been built there on foundations. So it's just a matter of like, obviously that wouldn't be a concrete slab, right? It's a different type of foundation system.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and then you said you've talked to contractors about proposing using their car, garage, basement to build something, but not an option as their house needs to remain untouched. Totally. Meaning, are they
Yeah.
using their garage, right?
I mean, yeah, they have the cars. I mean, the goal of this is for my parents are going to be involved in this project. I'm very close to them. Like we're a very close knit family, but their house should remain untouched. Like
Yep.
my goal is to just have my own entrance, like my own little tiny home for myself because I am tired of renting. So yes, I mean they use their entire home, like including their garage, everything. So I think the proposals that I've gotten in the past about like maybe building an in-law within their garage and like that is not an option.
No,
So
I hear you. I'm in the same boat. Like, hey, mom and dad, let me transform your house so it meets my needs. Like,
mhm,
doesn't really work.
mhm.
I had another client, people see their garage as like, oh yeah, it's great. Well, the garage was tiny and it was like $80,000. And then the reality is he likes using his garage. So
Yeah,
just
yeah,
change. And then the access, he'd have people like kind of more up in his space versus here, you have your own entrance, you have your own everything. I mean, that's the beauty of these 5 foot setbacks in between the homes and
mm,
natural pathways. They're able to like, yeah, I get it. You want to have them over
awesome.
for dinner, but not live in their space, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like totally.
Yes. Okay. So
Yeah.
here's some of the things now that we're looking at the aerial view, because this is where we're most interested in. Um,
Mhm.
the key things I wanted to add here, which I love doing, uh, and this helps anyone that's watching this video. We're going 5 feet from your property lines. So that's the side lines and all that. You can build on property line. However, you're gonna have a 1 hour rating of siding, and that usually increases costs. So,
Mm.
and the other part is there's a whole reason why they have 5 feet setbacks. That's for fire to get into there, right? I do believe strongly in homes that have that, but some people like, you know what? I'd rather have the full max space. I do see, because I don't have the exact dimensions of this property, but something tells me that if you're saying just a 1 bedroom, you've got enough space back there.
Okay.
And
That's
then we're
good to know.
going,
I mean, so
Mhm.
you're saying, so just so I understand, you're saying the red lines is what should remain untouched.
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, I
Okay.
know these aren't to spec like if this
Right.
is
No, I
aerial
just wanted to
view and
understand.
all that stuff, just to give an idea that we'd walk it out 5 feet, 5 feet, 5 feet, and then 10 feet from the house. This space is essentially your space available. And then
Okay.
what we do is we look at where the water spigot is back here. Usually there's some water spigot. Is there anyone back there?
Yep, there is.
Great. We can tap off of that. And then electrical panel. Do you have an idea of where it is on the house? Is it outside, in the garage?
Pretty sure it's in the garage.
Okay, so then what we would do is measure along under here to get this back to the home. And then the final one is the sewer. Really comes down to where is that sewer outlet? My dream would be it's back here somewhere. It might be in
No,
the
I
front
don't.
somewhere. And this is just where we have to trench, to meet permitted um requirements or legal
Mhm.
requirements. We have to trench the water, sewer, and electrical back to this unit. Now, I already know you're on sewer system. You're not out in the middle of ranch land and on a septic. So it's just a matter of, trenching, and it could be under concrete, like that sidewalk. Well, then the sidewalk gets redone, right? However, I think what you're about to see is going to be really attractive because the prices are the key part. So
Yep,
really the reason why people are so attractive to our company is that speed and prices that people love, and that they're built in California building code in Fresno. And we're just our whole focus is designed to make your world better, to give you an opportunity to spend time with your family, to own your own home, to not dropping money elsewhere, right, on someone else's American dream. That's how I
exactly.
like to think about rent, right?
Yep,
I get to go into my pocketbook. Okay,
exactly. No,
so
I agree.
let me just share with you the owner.
PreFab Innovations is on the leading edge of the technological change in the housing industry. And so we spend a lot of time on keeping up with current quality trends so that our homes look modern and beautiful. We're a one-stop shop. You can grab onto one group of people, and from one starting point to a matter of months or even weeks, be done with the house. And that's where we're strongly focused. We believe that our innovations will transform not only our lives, but the lives of the customers we serve. and the communities where our products are present. And that is truly what we think about. Quality homes built at speeds and prices that our customers love, because our focus is on making the customer experience so much better than it is now. And what we're after is creating this frictionless experience when it comes to building new housing. And there's lots of technology that goes into that we're killing it on.
So that's Dave. I don't have a video with Hondo. Hondo's our developer. I'll talk about that in a moment. These two are the key pieces that you're going to need. Oftentimes, they're connected, but they do very different things. One builds and one develops. So this is the biggest thing that I'm motivated by, is that we need 2.5 million houses by 2030 to avoid an even worse housing crisis. The housing really got its kind of up and down roller coaster, did not help things, especially as we like careened off the hill in 2005. Meanwhile, we kept having babies, and that all affected our housing prices versus the wages. So our gap was, if you bought a home in the 60s when a lot of the homes were bought, yay, kudos to them. But you and our generation, didn't know what was coming. We were kind of born in this realm when it started gapping bigger and bigger. And now, depending on where you live in the state, obviously, San Francisco Bay Area is a little bit different than maybe Fresno or Central Valley or, way high places. But we know this gap is real. If our wages kept up, great. We'd all be owning $1 million homes, right?
That's the dream.
So our focus 100% is homeowners plus modular homes equal housing solutions, because homeowners that already own the land, we don't have to sprawl. We don't have to go up in size. We can place more homes in backyards that clearly are being underused, unless your parents had like some dedication to a koi pond and they love their landscaping, then that'd be a different, or have a pool, that'd be a different story. But now
Yeah.
there's backyards across this state that can literally transform this housing problem. And so this is me serving the San Francisco Bay Area. We have a number of other people around the state. And really, offsite modular construction, back again, built in a factory, driven to property on wheels, like here, right there, attached to permanent foundation. And see, some of these terms are ones you'll hear: offsite construction, prefabrication, modular, factory built. All of it means that it's stamped to the California Residential Building Code. I have to bring all these terms in, because if you're talking to someone like, oh, you mean prefab? No, I mean modular. No, it's factory built. It means all the same thing. And these are really the I codes, the IRC codes that everything's built off of. There's a lot of this, a little, for the analytics out there that want to see what is involved. I just kind of want to focus the California Energy Code. You may have heard, oh, California code or building code is pretty stringent. It's true. And what's great about that is we build with SIP panels to meet those. Just for example, one of the parts of the code is the R value, the installation value of a home must meet in the R23 or more and R30 in the ceiling. It is difficult to do that with a stick frame. And that's been our incumbent building practice forever. And so with SIP panels, we build 5 to 10 times stronger and more airtight. The home that you live in the backyard will be built better than the ones your parent built or ones that your parents own. Just because it's
let me know when the right time to ask questions is, and this might come later in the process, but I had a couple that came up.
Okay, yeah, let me just kind of, how about this? We'll whip through it and then I can always go back.
Okay.
And so these are the prices. These are models and prices, starting at the 79.5 for the 288. And then we go all the way up to our 1,044. Notice we do have other, ones, but in your case, you're probably in more of that. You said 1 bedroom. So these are these 3 above, and then this one down here with the loft are really our studio to 1 bedroom models. We only have 1 studio. The studio with a bedroom added to the other end is our Pocket 420. That one's pretty popular. And then we get to the 440 is another one that's just more of a square layout. These are much bigger. And then these are the design packages. This is what people are most excited about. So when you buy from us, we already have 5 packages shared. And I can kind of toggle through these back and forth. Cabin. And then there's the farmhouse. There's that matte black. with some copper kind of gold trim sometimes. And then we've got the full glam gold,
Mhm.
modern package, usually that nickel, brushed nickel, and then traditional. So I can go back through them. Modern, glam, farmhouse, cabin. Usually people are thinking of one or two. You don't have to know right now. What will be is that these aren't exact, like you're going to get exactly this setup and that sink, because suppliers change things all the time. This is more of a mood board.
Makes sense.
I actually forgot to take out a slide. We no longer do the prefabulous design where everyone gets to choose their own stuff because we got to keep those
Okay.
speeds and prices going. So we need to take that out.
Okay, so we can't make changes to the packages that you
You can make some
offer.
changes. I'll go through that on this one here for a second. So it's really the tale of two quotes. There's the quote for the build and the quote for the professional development. We call it the pro quote. So the build quote includes the exterior, structural, interior package, solar, design options. So that's really where there are some things that you can change, but if we're getting down into changing all of them, we may not be your people.
Got it.
It's hard. We've wanted to be everything to everyone, but those price points just are not, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if, unless you're like, we'll kind of know if you're really more in the custom, we'll see what that will look like. If you're like, I want to change a sink and a shower head and those kind of stuff, then that's a different thing.
Okay.
Uh, Upgrades, and you are talking to the person that would be able to do it. Not all of our agents do that kind of work. Because I've been designing tiny homes and working with custom stuff for, gosh, all of 5 years, including my own
Yeah, I
home.
think I was referring more to like tile bathroom as opposed to like the plastic, or I don't know
And
the
you're
term for the material, but I would love tile instead of just like a white thing inside the bathroom, things like that.
okay. Yeah. So
Um,
if it comes down to like there's one or two things you're talking about, those are doable. If we're talking about the full tilt boogie and everything we touch is different, then it delays things. Our factory line is cranking along, doing great. And people love the prices for that reason.
yeah,
So
makes
the
sense.
next quote is the pro quote, and this really includes the transportation, all the install items starting at the site drawing, the land prep, site clearing, foundation, that water sewer septic, trenching, hookups, electrical. I don't know why I had that separate. And then the total professional fee. We always estimate the building permit because unfortunately, our jurisdictions out there are all a little different, a little squirrely. $200 here. Oh, you forgot that form. Now you got to do that here. And so we don't like to give exact numbers for them. We do always say 4,500 on a general. When buying a modular home, a general contractor must install. So that is why we offer this additional quote. If you had your own GC or you were a GC yourself, you could just do this and we'll just give you a transportation quote. But most of our clients are like yourself, where, they're not a GC and they don't have one in their family.
Got it.
So then the payment process looks like when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to go forward. Uh, we've already given you the quote, we've gone through the upgrades, all the design stuff. Then you're going to be getting a contract. And upon signing that contract, there's a deposit of 50% of the actual build quote that gets you on the build schedule, get your materials ordered, especially if we're talking about tile and different things. The key thing, the reason why we don't say no and we're still open to saying yes is as long as those materials are there on site for our crew to install and they don't have to stop and hold up the line, then we're better off. If it gets really custom and need to hold up things, we just, that's where we get difficult. So then 50% is due on certificate of occupancy. That's like you get the keys, you're moving in, or keypad, whatever. Then the pro quote is $1,000 down at that same time that your 50% down over here is due. $1,000 is due. And then the progress billing starts 30% upon filing permits, 40% upon completion of foundation, final upon certificate of occupancy. And then we have financing options. There's lots of company. We're not the bank. We're not the financiers, but we got lots of cool people. We've really honed. I see some logos down here that I even want to change now because we found new cool people. There's lots of finance companies out there, but we really want to work with ones that get back to our people really quickly, explain things succinctly, and can take action quickly. You know, like, here's your
Mhm.
application, let's go. Okay. And do you need financing to make it happen?
Most likely. I think I'm still figuring out that piece since I'm starting to look and get quotes, but yes, most likely.
Okay, then we would definitely want to hook you up with some of our people because they're used to our system. Other companies like, what's prefab or what's modular? You know, may not know. So at least our companies, but most finance companies, you're buying a product that is, you know, real estate that can placed on foundation. Okay, so now questions, and let me just send another message. Probably just gonna say, give me another 10. Does that work for you? Another 10 minutes?
Yeah, probably 5, 7 minutes, but
Okay, I'll just say 10 just to get myself organized. Let me see if I have
perfect.
another slide. There we go. I just said thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so thanks for the presentation, very helpful.
Yeah, good.
So the first question that pops up is the foundation. So
Okay.
being in that area, it like we get a ton of rain, we get a ton of wind, like very strong winds. And I was actually researching, I saw like Pacifica tiny homes or whatever it is, where like a tiny home got destroyed because of the rain and the storms that happened just last year. So I'm not sure I fully caught what the foundation looks like since it is slanted and at an angle, the backyard. I don't, how do you level that? I mean, maybe this will come later in the process, but I don't fully understand how that works to make sure
Okay.
that the tiny home is solid.
And you know, just to make sure the word, it's funny, the tiny home, actually, we were working with the SRU. I heard it last night. There's some things happening. The word tiny home is so related to the wheels. My brain goes there as well. And I know you're not doing wheels because Daly City does not allow it.
Okay.
Here's a great example of piers going down into the ground. Okay. And since your parents' home was literally built on a slope, you know, there could be this type of system. I am definitely not the foundation pro, but
Hmm.
do know that that is something that our crew knows how to deal with, right? So because I'm from Marin, I lived in Marin for years, so they know how to put things into slopes, right? But you know, a whole like just a slab like that wouldn't work because it's not flat.
Flat,
Whereas
exactly.
it surely is not that slopey either, right? But it's still some evolution of it. So there's a lot, really it's a civil engineering connection.
Got it. Okay.
So our
And
team
then,
definitely can do that.
but that's something that your shop can take care of.
Yep, that's all part of. So
Okay.
let me share with you just an example. Um, I don't have anyone on a slope, but I'll show you the pro quote for another client.
Mhm.
Um, there's your site drawings, engineering, you know, factory built on site, forklift, boom. Then there's land prep. And if you notice, foundation is always going to be included. Now, that number may be higher if it's on a slant. They need to get, you know, a civil engineering stamp or they need to do whatever else they need to do. Retaining wall, right? See, notice that's not included on this one, but that may be something that comes in to play,
Okay.
right? Then we get into
I
water
see.
sewer, on-site electrical. You know, what I can say is let the pros do it. And then there'll be some, you know, total at the bottom. And that's the one where you do the 1,000 down and then 30, 40, and then the final.
Okay.
And then the
Thanks for reviewing that with
alternative
me.
is the build quote. For example, this might be a unit. This is a 1-bedroom unit. So this is what it looks like. It has a structural, utility, interior. We kind of roll down the bathroom, exterior, then you choose your design package. And then there's some upgrade options here. And then if there was a thing, when you said tile for the shower, you wanted tile, like a tiled shower?
Mhm.
Okay, so in
Right.
here, I know for the bathroom, there's going to be a fiberglass form and surround. So this might be the thing that we say, nope, we're going to do tile here. And then there would be an
Got it.
upgrade charge on that. Do you
Okay.
see, like for example, in the kitchen, you could add a backsplash. Well, that is
Hmm.
something you can do after the fact. does not have to involve us. You could hire a handyman to do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's when it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want any of your cabinets. I'm going to do them all on my own after you guys installed our home. That we can't do because we have to provide a fully done home as if you were building it on site. And there's no certificate of occupancy without the kitchen cabinets installed and all of that.
Got it. Okay.
Which direction do you feel? Do you feel like one of the 5 packages would work for you?
Yeah, definitely. Like it's not for me, it's not necessarily about the decor. Like I'm on board with the mood boards that you showed me. I think it's more about being picky about certain things, like fiberglass is the word that I was
Yeah.
looking for. I'm
I'm
not a
with
fan of
you.
it. I don't love it.
Oh, I'm
So
with
like there
you.
are those.
So one of the things
Yeah.
I'm working on is an upgrade list. Now, the next high level, like just getting, tiled shower on the list here, you can choose from these, 3 or 4 different options. Or since the labor for putting in a tile is the same, unless we're getting into like super detailed, like, tiny little Italian tile, that's some tiny thing, like we'd probably have to have some rules as to like what our upgrade includes, that it's a minimum of this type of tile size. Then the same thing is regarded whether you buy the Italian gorgeous, handmade tile and that would be provided to the factory. The only
Yep.
issue is that like as soon as we sign contracts, all this process of doing the design, permit drawings and all that is happening. But guess what's also happening? We order anything that you're supposed to have and we get it to the site. I don't care if it's sitting there for 2 or 3 months while it's waiting, right? We want it to be there, marked, Jocelyn's home, Daly City. And then when the crew needs to go and start doing the tile, they could put that in.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And then the second question is when you were like the options for the homes that you have. So
Yeah.
what is the price that you showed on that slide?
Okay.
Is that the base price just to like what is included within that price?
Yeah,
Because
that's the base price.
I didn't
Yeah,
catch
so like for
whether.
example, here we are, the 89,978 is the 1 bedroom 420. So the good news is Dave sent you all those flyers in an email.
Yep.
And since I do have to jump off to do this other design chat, I wanted to at least have this contact to like, let's connect. The next step would be for me to actually come to your site and walk the site. And I'm going to be in San Francisco minimally by next Friday. Oh, but you're
Okay.
gone. That's right. Okay.
I am. But
Okay.
let's connect on via email because I know that you have to jump.
Okay.
Can you share this recording with me,
Yeah,
please?
no problem. Happy to do so.
Awesome. Yeah,
Awesome.
well, I
Thank you
really
so
enjoyed our
much.
chat. Thank you.
Okay. Have a great day.
Bye. You
Thanks.
too.